Hi.
Go ahead.
I don't have a presentation or slides, but if you allow me, I will show you the land board map.
Right.
So I will give you a small brief about our problem. The new road construction in State Road began about 2 years ago, and this area is from Pärnu city to Claus Village, and it's about 10 kilometers long way. And from this area to this, a complete new road has been built, and bus stops and public transportation is also moved to a new road, and it affects our local citizens because they're moving roads to a new roads have been affected. Sorry?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And that's our challenge. We now need to adjust. The citizens have to adjust the new road, new bus stops, because there is no other public transportation than busways here. And it's widely affected there. So we are trying to find solutions that in future such problems will be prevented, and alternatives are given to those locals who can use some other transportation ways than vehicles, as bicycles are preferred, because you see the dense area are located in here. That's why very close to Pärnu city. And if other ways they are moving to Pärnu or to Oulu, they used to have a bicycle routes, but now it's a big issue because those are cut away, and such a problem. So I give you the short overview.
Okay.
About our challenge.
Right. Question: how we would ask the researchers to what kind of let's say such a response or solution you would look for the researchers?
I would like to have answers. Is there is
maybe what kind of researchers you are looking for?
Maybe mobility researchers and traffic specialists, public transportation, to be honest, not traffic, but how to adopt public transportation in those road constructions situation, so the locals won't be so much affected. So the other research is maybe alternative ways how to prefer bicycle transportation in this different situation. And that would be, maybe there is a good question to those who maybe there is some kind of program you can make in computer, so the locals can see where the public transportation is located at the current situation, because at the moment I cannot find a map where the new bus stops are located, so we don't have such information also. So please.
Okay. Any questions from the audience, whether from Zoom, whether from here?
Well, question about the scheduling of road constructions. For example, in Helsinki, the city teleoperators, energy operators do not even try to coordinate their roadworks when they want to open the street to handle their own cables or devices or whatever is on the street. How is in Pärnu? Are you coordinating these kind of different operators?
This road is not built by municipality government. It's a road.
Road authority.
State road. Yes. Transportation are the. But yes, there are some infras there, and they are. I believe they are like speaking in those. If I understand correctly your question.
Yeah. So, well, perhaps I understood wrong. Is it just one road that is under construction?
Yes, just one.
Okay.
Just
okay,
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's my question is not so relevant, because in Helsinki we have the problem that there are many streets under different sort of heavy maintenance, and the coordination of them. I mean, city don't care how residents feel and how people on sort of street users that they just have to, do. So, but okay, in your case, it's a different.
Yes. This road is also called Via Baltica, so it's a long way distance route, and it's constructed for like long distance vehicles and maps, and so that's the problem for locals, because where it was before this road, there's several new buildings and roads were built or based on the main road was there, but now the road moved and those points were cut to small local roads like here or here, and they have no connection for the main road as well. So that's the problem, yes.
Okay, I think the picture is quite clear what we are looking for. So thank you very much. And we're moving to our next presentation to Tallinn, and to speak about the damage and missing traffic sign detection. Say, who will take the floor here?
Yeah, thank you.
So. Do we have the representatives of Tallinn? Seems not. Then the next one in our list is Santa Claus Village. And the question about the smart parking as part of the hospitality of a leisure hub.
Well, in case there are, well, I lost my Zoom. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay. I can't. I can't see your. It went somewhere. I've been discussing with this Santa Claus Village, which is located a few kilometers from city of Rovaniemi in northern Finland, sort of southern, how should I say, limit of Lapland. And they seem to have some difficulties with the city of Rovaniemi. City of Rovaniemi is great administrator, but not very active in rapid changes. They've done recently new detailed planning and including new roads and streets and parking arrangements dealing with this Santa Claus Village. So things are happening, but somehow I don't know what's their strategy. Seems to be that the Santa Claus Village is somehow waiting for city of Rovaniemi to be more active. but anyway, they have 500,000 visitors every year. The Rovaniemi airport is pretty much 2 kilometers from the village, and people from all over the world, Europe, UK, and wherever they come by rental cars or charter buses, and then there are of course domestic tourists coming by the private cars or camper vans or whatever charter buses. Mostly during 3 months around Christmas time. So they have totally non-organized parking. So it's not payable. It's not. There is no sensors. There are no information, no guidance, and nothing about it. So it's as they call it by themselves, the controlled chaos. And they have, I mean, several hotels. There are several, something like 20 restaurants and different kind of souvenir shops and all that. So it's quite a hassle. Well, yeah, something needs to be done, because especially European guests and their travel agencies are explicitly requiring sort of sustainability plans and implementations by this rather distant small village that happens to have a huge amount of international visitors, and the number of visitors seems to be growing like 15% or 20% next year. So something has to be done. They also have interests in sort of circulation of, I don't know, I'm not a specialist in that area, but food deliveries and waste management. but it's split it to another sort of challenge. So if the parking, I mean, I think it's quite straightforward thing to install sensors and create data and enable the payable parking there and inform the real-time availability also at the airport, so 2 kilometers from the village and things like that. Probably also in the city of Rovaniemi, I think it's 8 kilometers from the village is the actual city of Rovaniemi. So something like that. But they want to do that. They don't want to buy that from greedy parking operators, sort of giving their sort of routine solutions, but they want to develop it gradually and pilot it first and things like that. And business model, of course, is important. So to make the parking payable in a way that carries all the money coming in, is carrying the sort of parking service itself. Something like that. Hopefully they will be with us in the future. They haven't been very active, to be honest.
Okay. Thank you, Kalle.
Yeah.
Questions? That, as I understand, it's a controlled chaos that has to be somehow organized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the problems are quite similar in many sort of bigger cities. We have heard of Valga and others, but we'll see. Scale is different.
Any questions? If not, then thank you. And we will move forward to Viimsi County and talk about the carbon impact planning tool.
Yes. Do you need me to come to the front?
Yeah, it would be better, right?
So I will try to be rather quick to save everyone's time. So what's the background to this challenge? First of all, Viimsi is located northeast of Tallinn, roughly 10-15 kilometers from the city center. And at the moment, we have started work on our new general plan for the municipality, which will guide the development of the municipality for the next 10 to 20 years. So it has a very large impact on the environment and especially carbon emissions as well. And if we want to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, then the planning decisions have to help us move towards that. But currently, so what the challenge is that currently there isn't an easy way to assess the carbon impact of different planning decisions. We know how to calculate the carbon emissions of buildings, how much energy they use. We look at carbon emissions of cars. We can compare different modes of mobility modes. We can look at, anyways, if we look at these very specific fields, then we know how to calculate the CO2 emissions. But if we are talking about urban planning, then it becomes much more complex. And as planners, you can make decisions based on intuition or your best knowledge, or you can make guesses on what's the best way to reduce carbon emissions in the future. But it isn't really data driven at the moment. So what one possible solution would be is to create a model planning or a planning tool. And it will take different inputs. For example, you could look at, just to give an example, let's say you're a city that is trying to build housing for 500 people. So you can look at first the location. What's the best location in terms of lowering emissions? The location means what places have the best access in terms of getting around. What are the regions or areas that already have the necessary infrastructure in place? And what are compared to what's the carbon impact of having it already in place compared to having to build it new? Then there are other factors you can analyze is existing land use. For example, it's a big difference whether you're building on a brownfield site that used to be, for example, industry in the past, and now you're rebuilding it as a commercial or residential area, compared to, let's say, farmland or forests. Then the type of development. Are we talking about high-rise buildings made of concrete, or are we talking about low-rise timber buildings, for example? Then the amount of greenery, percentage-wise, is it trees or just grass and smaller bushes and so on and so forth. So there are very many different factors which affect the carbon impact of the planning decisions. And ideally, we would like to have a planning tool that's rather easy to use for policymakers, for urban planners, and that would be an extra data point in making smart decisions in the future when it comes to urban planning.
Do you imagine it would be kind of part of the digital twin? Or would it be a kind of separate model?
Maybe, I guess, for researchers, I guess the first step would have to be to analyze the carbon impact of existing areas,
right,
before making the model. So in that sense, yeah, you first have to understand the current situation and the carbon impact. And I guess you could say that it could be a digital twin in that sense.
Mm-hmm. So that if you would, for example, remodel something in the area, then you can actually see also the carbon impact.
Exactly. So it would help make smart decisions. So you could easily compare different scenarios, different scenarios for planning your city.
Mm-hmm. Not only the Excel model in a way.
Yeah, because that's not easy to understand for most people.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, I think what you suggest and what you ask, it's the question of 1 million. So I was explaining, City of Leuven is one of these 100 mission cities where we have to select what are now the impact projects on having a huge reduction of CO2 emissions. But of course, in selecting these projects, we really have to prove between brackets what is the impact. And so there are already in that whole group of mission cities similar questions, and city of Leuven is already, yeah, we are using already many years a certain tool which helps us in the actual calculation of CO2 emissions and what will be the impact. But I think we have to try to find some kind of line also in support of that, the climate mission cities. There is also net zero cities.
Well, just to remark that actually Finland Center is also part of the net zero cities.
Okay, yeah, but there are the question you asked, the 112 climate mission cities have the same question.
Right.
And they have not the solution, everybody. Not everybody has the answer.
Right.
So I don't know by heart how we are doing it. I know we are doing it, but I have to ask within our team how we are doing it.
Right. So we are part of this network as well. Let's say Tartu city is also one of the mission cities.
Yeah, yeah.
In this area. So it's a question that, yeah, we would try to probably engage via this.
It would be very nice that it is from that support.
Yeah.
That it could also be a support for many cities that have that question.
Right. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question because this tool needing input data. Do you have some kind of overview already? What are the data at all? And you start to have collecting data? Or
for our case, we don't have good data on mobility, but a mobility study is being, and a model is also being built in line with the new general plan by consultants. They're using the same software that Tallinn uses for their traffic data. So we will have that in the future, but we don't have good information on modal share, for example, between different modes of transport. Depending on type of development, whether it's apartments or single family homes and so on. So there are still areas where the data is missing. Yeah, so good data is also needed to make the model work. Yeah.
Probably the one thing we heard from the previous presentation was also that you have to zoom out as well to see not only the Viimsi, but also the connections and
yes, of course,
other things.
Right. Any other questions? If not, then thank you.
Yeah.
And now we are going to Eilat, Israel, and we are very glad to hear and see you from there in these very difficult and troublesome times in your country. And yes, we will talk about the democratization of access to solar energy. So please, Simon, the floor is yours. Salome.
Thank you. I'm here today with my colleague Eilat, who will do a presentation.
Okay, hello.
Hi, Salome, you want to share?
Yes, it's coming.
So thank you for inviting us.
It doesn't share, right? Okay. Right, we're here. We can see it.
We'll talk about democratizing access of solar energy. Eilat is part of the EU mission 100 cities. And as part of that, we are also obligated to neutralize all of our emission by 2030. Eilat has a population of about 70,000 residents, but it also has 3 million tourists a year. Eilat is on the shores of the Red Sea, border with Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. In order to be able to implement the smart city solution and reduce emission, we made several focus groups with the residents in order to bring them along and to help them be part of the solution of the city. Next. So in Eilat, we already, because of a large PV fields and a lot of municipalities that are a municipality roof, we already put PV. So Eilat during daytime is 100% renewable energy. We now cope also with the nighttime and started installing a storage capacity in the city. But on the other hand, most of the residents don't put PV on their private roofs. We try to understand what is the reason. So we made several focus groups, different areas in the city, and we came to three main challenges that the residents cope with. One is a misconception about the financial feasibility of the roof, of the PV. And that's because in the feeding tariff of the PV is getting down all the time, is reduced, along with the prices. But since the residents see that only the reduction of the tariff and not of the cost, they assume that the economic feasibility is also dropping. That's one misconception. The other one, the process is it's complicated and it's time consuming. It's not standardized. Each contractor, each supplier gives them different kind of proposal. One will give you for a kilowatt installed. Another one will give you for a square meter. And it's very hard for to understand how to check these proposals. And the third main issue that they cope with is that since we are small kids, we've been taught not to touch or not to handle electricity devices by ourselves. And now we ask them to put basically a generator on the roofs. And there is also a lot of misconceptions about that, about the radiation, about how it's about fire hazards and a lot of other things that we've been taught since we are kids, that it's danger, and now we need to convince them to do that. In order to tackle these three challenges, we initiated a platform called the Eilat Solar. It basically gives the opportunity for the residents to establish a roof from their salon, from their house. You can pass another slide, Salon. And we build a very basic online tool that each resident, when he gets in, he puts his ID number and he gets an aerial photograph of his own house with a demonstration of the PV panels on the roof. Also a finance schemes that he can choose from. We done of course, a public tender to choose the suppliers and to choose the banks. And after that, we managed to raise somehow the gap in the bar and help more people to put PV. But now, after this system is working, now what we're trying to do is further develop the Eilat Solar platform to other functionalities, such as add function to create energy communities. From what we learned from the process that we done, a lot of people said that what helped them, not only the software itself, but what the tool itself, but what helped them to eventually put solar on the roof, it's their neighbors. When they talk with their neighbors, to also do this investment through there. I hope it was clear. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions or remarks from the audience? I know that there are some of the models that have been built up in a similar way also for the 3D models. And Henrik, you have the floor to comment on that.
Hi, I'm from Tallinn, Estonia, and we have previously worked with smart city projects, and we're focusing only on solar energy on buildings. And I have a question. Do you know what kind of data you have available, and do you have maybe available of some data of this 3D models or digital surface models of the city of Eilat?
Yeah, we have 3D models of the entire city. And we have also a calculation of radiation along the day for each point, for each pixel in the 3D model. We tried previously, I didn't say it, but we tried to use the data in order to have better analysis of the potential from each rooftop in the city. So we run a model for all the roofs, and we have some kind with, I'm not sure how accurate it is. It's something that needs to be checked again with the development of the software.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we also have a software that is automatically calculating and making it easy for the users, for the citizens. So I will share this information more in your challenge, like fill out a small one-pager to share information about it. But I also wanted to comment that it is also interesting to analyze these small regions inside the city of energy communities, and actually every house cannot have solar installed. So the city has a task, or the city is responsible for actually making this plan for the whole city, not just only for one site, one house. And I think this is an interesting part of this challenge, to analyze the whole city and find the regions and parts where you can build these small energy communities inside the city.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. We're looking on Eilat is in the desert, so we have we don't have enough shading in the city. So one of the things that we're doing is mapping all the parking lots, open sports courts, parks, sidewalks, in order to exactly do that, to see how we can create also better shading and put PV and combine them. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I will share some information about our software and our previous projects we have done, and I think it would be good to also work together with you.
Sounds interesting. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. Any other questions? If not, then thank you, Eilat, and I would wish you your country will see some peaceful future in coming times as well. So it's looking forward and stay with you.
Thank you.
Right. So we would now move to the last presentation on the city of Võru in Estonia, and Diana will speak about about the questions how to provide green electricity to the city. So, Diana, the floor is yours.
Yeah. I would like to share my presentation.
Yes, it's on.
So, hello to everyone. I'm from Võru. Võru is a small town, 14 square kilometers. And as the electricity prices are growing due to the electricity need, so Võru is looking new ways how to provide green electricity into infrastructure. So we have renovated houses. We have put the solar panels, and we are dealing these kind of things. But electricity grid needs to be balanced. So we are looking virtual power plant concept. So I think more researches needs to be done, and this virtual power plant, I have image. We don't have hydrological power plant or wind turbines. But we need one station where the data is collected and automated, and so here is the information. And if we have this kind of virtual power plant, the inhabitants, I think, will be lucky because they may reduce their electricity costs, and maybe if it is done, then inhabitants are more liked by green technologies, and we save money and will be more green, and pollution is reduced. So this is a quick introduction.
All right. Do you understand it right that you're looking for a kind of platform where the citizens can take part in such kind of virtual power plant actions or energy community action?
We are thinking a platform where inhabitants can and cannot. It depends on researchers. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because we are at the moment working also on one of such kind of platforms where the energy communities can be facilitated in one go, and maybe we can test also actually in practice in Võru as well, whether it works or not.
Yes.
There are some of the developments that are already actually from this last round of pilots on microgrids, where we have also had a similar kind of aim to develop such kind of platform, but from the perspective that there would be different actors and different companies on this platform who would provide the services to end clients. So, are there any questions? Does it make sense?
I will ask a quick question.
Yeah.
I wanted to check about how much in this concept you have about the EV charging and balancing with basically electric vehicles, a fleet of electric vehicles, batteries, and is Võru city government itself owning any electric vehicles?
Yes, we have. And yes, we have. And new things, they are always considered about these kind of things.
Okay, I just know that there's an Estonian company that is doing grid balancing with electric chargers, and when I see at this project, I think it's actually also what Einar said. It's a combination of different things. So probably Taltech has a good platform for the combination of these different solutions.
Right. So we can discuss it how we can integrate it maybe also with our previous project outcomes. And of course, there would say, as far as actually this pilot goes a bit on at the moment as well, maybe we can work on that also in parallel with that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Quick questions? If not, then I can just thank you all for this afternoon, for the whole day. And we will have still a networking break on the site here. But I would like to thank you all who have been present via the Zoom and here on site as well. And looking forward then to the ongoing pilots on upcoming pilots. Thank you.